Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Morgan, if you guys are new here. This is my mother, Erica.
Hi.
Hi. And we are filming a video today on tips to improve and maintain your mental and emotional health. So we like to consider ourselves
Not experts in the areas of mental and emotional health, but it's something that we really put as a priority in our lives and strive to get better at. And I think we've both overcome quite a few obstacles in that area. So I guess we consider ourselves to be fairly emotionally and mentally healthy, right?
Yeah. So our main focus for filming this video is we will have a lot of people come up to us and say, how do you guys stay so positive? What are things that you guys do to stay happy, to stay motivated, productive, all the positive aspects of mindset that people are looking for. So we figured we would make a small video. Only 5 tips. We thought about doing 10, but we thought that would be overwhelming. So we are doing 5 tips to remain or become mentally and emotionally healthy. There are things that we do on a daily basis, and hopefully you can gather some information. You don't have to do all the steps right at once either if you want to take them one at a time, or if one doesn't resonate with you, you don't have to do that one at all. So there are 5 totally different steps, so you can kind of apply it to your life however you would want to.
I struggle to add new things into my routine. I resist change like a lot. So I've added in one at a time. Some of the things I've taught Morgan to add in, a lot of them she's taught me to add in. So don't think you have to do them all at once. Even adding in one a day, if you're not doing any of those things, will start to make a difference, and then that will become easy, and then you can add in the next one.
Okay, so tip number 1 is exercise. So this is a very broad subject, so we're gonna kind of narrow it down for you, give you some tips within different types of exercise to practice. So why don't you start with the different types of exercise that we do?
Sure. And can I say why we do it?
Yeah.
So I exercise mainly for my mind. I have a really busy mind, and I find that by exercising, it really helps to calm my mind, and I'm a lot less stressed. I do it to be fit as well. I want to be healthy, and I feel like my self-esteem is better when I'm fit, and I just feel better about myself. But the main reason is for my mind. So I run. I love to run. I've run 3 half marathons in the Ragnar in the past 2 years. And I love to run. I love to be outside. I also do body pump with my friends at the Y, and in the winter I'll do the machines inside the Y. What do you do?
Okay, so I do 4 main types of exercise. Some of you might know that I'm a dancer. And now that I'm a freshman in college, I don't really have to compete at all for dance. I'm kind of, I do a couple classes with one teacher at the studio, but that's only one night a week. So I kind of went to my mom a couple months ago and was like, I need more exercise variation within my exercise routine. So I also took yoga. I studied yoga, learned how to do headstands and different poses and everything during quarantine for a hobby. I also started running with her, which I love now. I did my first 5K a couple weeks ago.
She's faster than me now.
I am, but I can't go as far as her.
Okay, I got that in you.
So I go about 3 miles now. And then I also do body pump with her. I only do body pump 1 morning a week, but at first I didn't really know how I felt about body pump, but now I love it. My strength is really improving, I would say, even though it's only an hour per week. I enjoy going. I'm learning the tracks more and more. So those are the 4 main types of exercise that I do.
Yeah. And walking is good. There's a broad range that you can do. You know, just getting out. It depends on what you're used to. If you're not used to exercising at all, you might want to start with walking. I think that finding a workout buddy, even if you can't do it together, just being accountable to them each day and messaging each other and saying, hey, I did this, to keep each other going is really, really important. It's just easier to cancel if you don't have that.
Well, tell them about how me going with you or Trent.
Yeah, so I'm not really a morning person. Body pump I am, because my friends are all there and I know that they set up my bench for me already. I don't want to cancel on them. So it's easy for me to go at 5:30 a.m. now, two days a week. Running, I usually would go later, 8:30 or 9. I just don't like to run really early, but now that Morgan and Trent go with me and she needs to leave earlier for school, I go at 6:30 a.m. or earlier without a problem, but it's because I know she's getting up with me. They're there running with me. It's just easier. So if you can find a partner with some of the same goals as you, even if you're meeting there and you go to the trail or wherever and you go at different paces, it's just so much easier having someone there with you.
Yeah, because we normally go ahead of you. So it's not necessarily that we're
You're not right next to
the
me.
same level of exercise. It's that we're there together doing each of our own individual needs of the exercise.
Yeah.
Okay, so next.
And it's not so much the length of the workout if you're not, it's just about fitting it in and making it a daily habit. So instead of canceling for a day because you're really busy, you got home later in the evening, or you woke up late and you only have 15 minutes, don't just cancel on yourself altogether. Even move for 10 or 15 minutes, do some planks in your living room. Just something like that to move, you'll feel better. I also like to view exercise, I read it in one of my books one time, as an appointment with myself. Because if we had an appointment with someone else, just like how I hardly ever miss body pump because my friends are there and the equipment's set up, we tend to not cancel on other people, but we cancel on ourselves all the time. But those appointments should be even more important than our other ones. So view your workouts, any self-care actually, but your workouts as an appointment with yourself, and do not cancel on yourself because you are worth it.
Okay, tip number 2 is reading. This is also a very broad subject for a reason. A lot of people are scared of reading. A lot of people associate it with school, which is why a lot of people are not interested in growing their knowledge, finding a type of book that they actually enjoy. Just like a TV show, there's TV shows that work for certain people. People have different preferences. Same thing with reading. We prefer fiction or self-care the most. We have a couple devotionals that we'll tell you about as well. So some books.
I do like romance novels too, though.
Yeah, she
like
likes
just for fun, like
novels.
mindless reading, but
yeah, like a Christmas cowboy romance last year.
That's embarrassing.
Okay.
Yeah, just mindless reading, but I read a lot of self-help too, so you have to have fun in life too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just mix it all in.
Okay, so a couple of recommendations I have. We have both read Present Over Perfect.
Love that one.
By Shauna Niequist, I believe
Yes.
is how you say her last name. This is my 3rd time reading it. I'm reading it right now. Totally recommend it. Big Magic.
I haven't read that one yet.
No. It's by the same author as Eat, Pray, Love. I really, really, really like that one. I also have a video, if you haven't seen it, about my book recommendations, like my favorite book recommendations. So I would also watch that because a lot of these same books are in there. We have our devotional. It's a semi-devotional. She talks about her thoughts and then she brings like prayer into it a little bit too. It's called I've Been Thinking by Maria Shriver. That one's a really good one, especially if you're not used to reading. The chapters are like 2 pages a day. Like we read it out loud to each other after we stretch, and it takes 5 minutes at most. So if you're not used to reading, that's a really good one to get started.
I love that one because it's just nice and short, and it's on a broad range of topics. So it covers a lot of different things in life. The Present Over Perfect really helped me a lot because I tended to be very, very busy, or think that I had to accomplish certain things in life. Like everybody's like, well, when I get there, like I need to work so hard. So you're working towards something. But in that book, she kind of talked about like, well, what is there? Like, what is that? In like, you miss all of your life along the way, and you just need to slow down and enjoy every day. So that's why Morgan's on her third time, because there's just so many good points in that one. I've read different things. I have a very busy mind, like how to quiet my thoughts. So it just depends on what you struggle with. But the I've been thinking is a good general one for every day too, and just start with little bits so you don't get overwhelmed and not finish it. I like the books because sometimes when your thoughts aren't good enough, like maybe you're really hard on yourself, you're having trouble being positive, you need to borrow someone else's thoughts. And that's why I go to a counselor. Sometimes my thoughts aren't good enough and I need to borrow someone else's thoughts. Sometimes that can be talking to a friend. Sometimes it's listening to a podcast. If reading isn't your thing, there's some very, very good podcasts out there as well. But sometimes we just need to borrow someone else's thoughts. And some of the books do touch on spirituality, God, whatever you want to call it, a little bit. And I think it's important to say that, we might all view that differently. So just try to keep an open mind. If they talk about God, it could be your higher power. It could be, it don't shy away from the book just because it talks about prayer or God too.
Yeah, and even if you're not very involved with any sort of spirituality, no matter where you are on your journey of spirituality, you should never feel scared or ashamed with where you are in your connection to God, or God or your higher power, whatever you want to call it. Everyone has a different preference. But even if you have no connection, just getting started is a big step. You know what I'm saying? There's love for everyone, there's room for everyone, Yeah. We also recommend, we like to talk about our books in the morning, which is partially why we read them out loud to each other. I feel that it resonates with us more when we have a discussion about what we read. It stays in our brain more because we're having a discussion about any other thoughts we may have about what we just read. So if you have a person, a friend, your parent, your sibling, anyone that you have that would maybe be willing to have a good, honest, truthful conversation with you about what you guys are reading, is sometimes really nice and helpful to carry the
message
and effects of the book even
because
further.
Sometimes we'll read the passage and Morgan will say, wow, Mom, I think you needed to hear that because it relates to such and such that you're going through. I'm like, oh, I didn't even relate it to that. I guess I could think of it in that way. So sometimes it helps to hear someone else's thoughts and twist on it too.
Okay, tip number 3, we have our environment. We're making all of these categories very broad so you can relate them to your life however you would like. We like to think of our environment as things that calm us in our house, in our car, in our room. It can be any sort of environment you have at work, at your desk. During quarantine, we started redoing our home a bit, and it has made us so much more comfortable and productive when we are at home. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I feel like I always had stuff, just clutter and in different rooms that I needed to go through, and you put it off because life is busy and everything. But then when you're at home, I didn't really feel like I could truly relax because I always felt like there were things that I needed to be doing, going through the basement rooms to go through just clutter. And then your mind's cluttered and you don't necessarily enjoy being at home. My environment wasn't really calming to me. Things that you needed to finish. So Morgan helped me go through each room. I tend to get very distracted and it's hard for me to focus. So we would focus on just one room, and now we went through all the clutter and I enjoy keeping things picked up and more organized. And there's certain things that I love in the house. Ooh, there's a fly. That help to calm me. So, like, we bought a shelf for all of my plants. I'm obsessed with succulents and plants. They make my heart happy. I love to split pieces off of them, and I take old candle jars that have burned out. So this is one of them. This was from a fall candle. And I take the candle jars, melt the wax out when it's done, clean it out, and put some rocks and dirt. And then I break off pieces of succulents and start them in new jars. And we bought a new shelf for me by the window for those. So like these, I look at them every day and they just make my heart so happy. I have magnets on my refrigerator from all the trips we've been able to take over the last few years. I look at those and remember the fun times we had. That makes my heart happy. What do you got, sister?
Well, one of the best things about you putting succulents in the candle jars is that I love to burn candles. So candles are
Right.
actually one of my favorite things about my environment.
Yes, she lights them constantly. We
Yeah.
buy a lot of candles now.
Yeah, I definitely, mugs. You can see we made
Mhm.
this little hanger thing that we take our mugs off of in the morning. We don't keep all of them on there, but just
No,
a couple
we
of
have
them.
a problem buying
Yeah,
a
we
lot
do,
of mugs,
yeah.
but they make us happy, so it's okay.
Yeah.
They're like $5
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
TJ.
from TJ Maxx. Yeah.
Okay, anyways, I also really love holidays and seasons, so I love changing our decor every couple months,
Boards.
changing the boards
Boards
all
make us
around the
happy.
house. So we've recently been doing that for fall, and I love it so much. I also tend to be a bit of a clean freak,
Yeah.
and so
Little OCD, like it's okay, but we have to keep her in check a little.
So I have to kind of control my urges to pick everything up or throw everything away. So my family does a really good job, and since we have redone and cleaned the house, it's pretty good. Like, we've kind of compromised on stuff. The decor has changed. So everyone has their own things that change your environment. We love fuzzy blankets too.
At night when I sit down to relax, or we might have some tea or I'm watching a show, I love a fuzzy blanket. Right now we're fighting over one of them. We have to find another one that's just as fuzzy as my fall leaf one. But we love our fuzzy blankets at night.
Yeah.
And these are our things that calm us or that we like in our environment. But find those things for you. It's fall, I'm obsessed with pumpkins. I have pumpkins everywhere, outside the back patio door, out front, and I just open up the door and look at them. Mums, they just make me happy. So find those things, and I spend a little bit of money on them, but I figure there's worse things I could be spending money on. They make my heart happy, so I'm worth it.
Yeah, and our reasoning behind changing our environment is not to have like a surface level change of just like, oh, I want the nicest decor.
Right.
I want our house to look the nicest in our neighborhood. Like, our goal is to make ourselves who are living in this house feel comfortable.
Happy to walk into it.
Mhm.
Like homey, like we like to sit down for a dinner. It's not about how it looks to other people. In my house doesn't always it's not always clean by any means, but it's how it makes us feel inside being in it.
And we also want our guests to feel like comfy, homey, welcome when they come in. And so that's why we love to decorate and change things up and make it pretty for the holidays and everything.
Yep. So tip number 4 is acceptance. So this is something that you don't necessarily physically do, but it's mental. A lot of times people are unhappy. I always was, because you're stuck complaining about situations in your life, people in your life that you find disturbing. Almost any time during the day, if you're complaining about something, it's because we're not practicing acceptance. So I actually have a tattoo on my forearm. I don't know if you can see it. Okay, anyway, it says acceptance. I got it last year because I need to look at that every day when I'm starting to complain or feeling unhappy. Acceptance is the answer to all my problems. I keep a little magnet on the fridge. It's done so much for my mindset. It says, when I'm disturbed, it's because I find some person, place, thing, or situation unacceptable to me. And I can find no serenity until I accept that person, place, thing, or situation as being exactly the way it is supposed to be at the moment. And I need to focus not so much on what this person needs to change about them over there. I need to focus on what I need to change about my attitude, because I can't change other people. So even if someone is totally doing you wrong and you know that they need help, you know, they're not emotionally or mentally healthy, you still can't change them. So you need to accept that your role in it. So you're allowing them to treat you that way. So no matter who it is in your family, whatever, you need to consider that maybe you need to get some help to not allow them to treat you that way. So some of that isn't something that can be changed right away, you know, depending on what it is in your life or who it is, you know, if it's your work or whatever. But by constantly questioning myself during the day when I find myself unhappy or upset about something, I know that I have to accept it or I'm not going to find any peace. It's a little deep, but it really, really works if you just keep repeating that word, acceptance. How do you feel about that?
Well, I personally haven't had as much experience practicing this
right
idea
in your life
as much as you have, but I know that I have super obsessive thoughts. If I think I said something to someone that they may have not even been bothered by it, but I think I offended them, I will think about it all day for days. I cannot get it out of my head.
I think a lot of people feel that way.
Yeah, and there are so many things. It's not even just that example. There's such a broad range of examples that there will be something. I just overthink things in my head so much, and I think a lot of people do. And whenever I come to you about it, this is literally always your answer, is acceptance. And so
you can't change it. It's done. And if the person does have a problem with it, hopefully they're a good enough friend that they'll come back and say, hey, you hurt my feelings, hey, you did this. And if they don't, well, then, you know, it's not a close enough friendship. It's not an honest friendship. So tip number 5, last tip of the day, is another mental thing. But this is one that takes so much practice and it's so powerful.
And it relates to everyone. Like literally everyone.
Pretty much, because I don't think there's truly anybody that doesn't worry about this in some aspect, even if it's small. But it's not worrying about what other people think about you. So I say this to myself. Sometimes Morgan has to say it to me. Sometimes I say it to her. But what other people think about you is none of your business. It's hard to be your authentic, true self and really be happy if we're constantly worrying about what others think of us, what we're wearing, just everything, what we say and do. She kind of helped put it in perspective one day. Even before I did this video, I was like, oh, are we like doing our hair and makeup? And she's like, Mom, no, we have to be our authentic true selves. Like, who would you be doing that for? For other people. Well, why? Like, what does it matter what they think? And we were going to go somewhere and I'm like, oh, I didn't do my makeup or anything. Like, do you care? Because it was like around her friends. And she's like, Mom, did you see so-and-so yesterday? Do you remember if they were wearing any makeup? I'm like, I have no idea. I don't notice that. She's like, then why do you think people notice that about you? I'm like, oh, maybe they don't, you know? And so it was just kind of to put it in perspective. Like, we worry so much about what other people think, but half the time they don't even notice. We don't notice. And it shouldn't matter. Like I said before, if someone's your true friend and you do something that upsets them, hopefully they should come to you. Don't always worry about what they're thinking.
Yeah, I relate to this one so much because I think that if I would have always listened to what other people say, I would not be filming this video right now.
Yeah.
I do not think...
And I didn't want to do it with you because I get nervous of what other people think.
And I would not have a YouTube channel. You know, when I was first starting this, I didn't really want to share about it because I was like, what are people going to say to me? What are they going to say about me? Are they going to say that this idea is not a good idea? And I'm like, no, I need to do this for me.
Right. Because it holds you back if you worry about what other people think.
Like, that's going to go on for your entire life.
Yep.
There's always going to be something that you're worried about. And so then it was starting the channel, and I actually did start the channel, and I'm so, so thankful I did. But now it's every video I film, if people are going to think it's good enough, right? And the reason I started a channel was not to show other people how amazing my life was, you know. It was so that I can watch things back and I can see what my life was like years ago, and that I can kind of document things for myself.
And share some positivity with people.
Inspire people and kind of connect with people more. And so in no part of that did I do these videos for someone else, to impress someone else. And so as I actively film these, if I don't have my hair and makeup done, I don't care. If it's at an angle where I'm like, I don't know about that. Like, I want my videos to be good quality, but not to the fact that I'm making something that I don't fully believe in myself and don't fully support myself. I don't want to ever make a type of video that I'm just making because I think other people would like it.
And editing it so that it's acceptable to other people, like, because you're worried about what other people think.
Yeah, and when you get to a point where you're kind of editing things and doing things for other people, it would be so exhausting to keep up with it. Like, to always have to put on this facade. We just act so naturally out, and sometimes we say things like, we don't even think what comes out of our bodies. We just say the first thing that comes out of our mouths. And so we literally, we don't have to keep up with any sort of standard, and we don't have to worry about anything because we're just used to doing whatever we want. And if people don't like us, it's none of our business. You know what I'm saying?
Right. So, it's okay. You're not everyone's cup of tea. And
because some people prefer coffee.
Yes, exactly. I just love you.
We want to thank you guys so much for watching this video. Hopefully you got through all 5 of our tips. We know we can talk a lot sometimes and they can get a little bit long, but if
we just get really excited.
Yeah, we do get really excited. So if you end up doing any of these tips, we would love if you guys would message us, text us, tag us on anything, social media.
Tell us if you're struggling with one point or you need a suggestion. Like, we would love to see that it's made a little bit of a difference to somebody. It helped your days a little bit more.
Yeah, if you ever want to, like, come to a workout class with us at the Y, if you're around, like, this area, if you want to, you know, we can talk about where we run, what we wear when we run, more bucks. We can meet with any of you guys over coffee. We just love talking about all of this types of stuff. Not even just with each other,
in
with
general.
everyone.
I just like talking in general.
Yeah. Okay. So, yeah. Message us if you're having trouble with one part, if you're doing one part and you just feel so amazing, you want to share it with us. We would love to see you guys interacting with this video and letting us know what works best for you. So we want to say thank you so much.
And change is hard, so just be easy on yourself. Every little thing you change, give yourself a pat on the back from us, because it is hard, and every little thing matters.
Yep. Okay, bye.
Bye.